Today what we're going to cover is the welcome and introductions, which is what we're just concluding right now. Going to talk about the BC Association of Farmers Markets activity in the recent year plus on equity, decolonization, inclusion, and accessibility. And that's something that connects well with the Farmers Market Nutrition Coupon Program because of that work we've been doing in that area for the last 10 years is addressing some of these issues. I'll talk about that more. Going to go over some when the program starts and ends, what's new for 2021, and then we have an exercise we're calling a question period, whereby we have some questions that are asked by people in the program regularly, and we're going to have you as teams come up with answers so that we can review them. Talia will then go over how the coupon program works in greater detail. At any time during the whole process, you are absolutely welcome to ask questions. You can either put on use the question, the raise your hand function that's in Zoom, or you can pop it in chat, or even if you just come on mic and say who you are, that'll work too. So we welcome those as we go along, or hold them if you like, and we'll cover it towards the end. So the next topic here is talking about the fact that over the last year, as the whole world was confronting some severe problems that were occurring in the United States, some of which continues to play out, is that we wanted to look at what is our role and responsibility in working on issues around equity, inclusion, accessibility, and in particular in Canada, decolonization. The organization, along with the board members, the staff, working with some folks that we brought on to guide us through some processes of exploration, contributions from BC Farmers Markets, plus information we've learned from the coupon program participants and partners. We've got a list of over 65 different objectives we're trying to achieve. And I've identified about 7 of them here that relate to the coupon program. The first 2 are very familiar to those of you that have been around for the coupon program the last couple of years, is that we are always looking for ways to deal with accessibility barriers. Barriers that are within a vendor's booth, barriers that are there at farmers markets, and the second part there is that we often say remove and discover and remove barriers at your markets. Our goal will be to also develop ways that you can audit your market, audit a vendor's booth, and tools to retool them so that they become more accessible in the ways that are important to our customers. We're also going to be sending to all the farmers markets the I speak signs. The farmers markets received them about 4 or 5 years ago. So if you had a vendor who spoke more than one language, they could put up a sign and write the languages they spoke there. It helps people in the community come to the market and know that they can have a conversation with someone in their first language if that's helpful to them, because those signs will be there. So we feel that'll be a good step. We are paying more attention to acknowledging and addressing the fact that we're on Indigenous land across British Columbia, all of it that is unceded and just taken over as the country and the province was developed in many instances. So finding out ways for farmers markets to acknowledge that, and that can be by placing signs at their market. It can be including information when you're sending out your newsletters and whatnot. So that's another aspect. We communicate quite a bit through our YouTube channel, Facebook pages, newsletters. We're looking at whether or not those are accessible. Are they, what languages are they in? Are there visuals that support the written text for people who are not low literacy? And so we want to do that more and more with our communications, both in the FMNCP and in the and in the BCFM as a whole, and encourage you also to consider doing that in your communications. We also are focusing on translating and designing our materials in various languages. So last year, Talia polled farmers market partners what languages would be helpful for you to have the participant brochure. In 11 different languages were replied back to us, and we have now the material in all those languages coming in, so they'll be available for you to download for people in your community who are better able to read in that language. And finally, we have an annual advisory committee meeting for the coupon program. We often have the staff, the funders, a board member, a few farmers market managers, and a few community partners there to talk about last year's program and plans for next year. We felt it was important to include the voices of participants, people who receive coupons, and also to have farmers there. The ones who are really having this program, literally, they're working with it in their hands. They're the ones that are dealing with and having the coupons and experiencing it. And that made for a much richer and thoughtful conversation. We were really grateful to have that. And we want to continue to do that in opportunities going further. So that's just a taster of what's on tap for this year for the coupon program, but then the BC Association of Farmers Markets has an even larger list. Now, back to the coupon program. When does it begin and end? So the start and ending dates are coming up. We're almost in June here. So June 12th will be the first day that coupons will be available at farmers markets. So that Saturday is the first day that if your market is open and everything is up and running, coupons can be redeemed starting then, that first that first day in June 12th. And then the coupons will be able to be redeemed at farmers markets for the next 28 weeks. That'll bring it all the way till mid-December. So that's a fairly long time that folks can redeem their coupons. And for those of you that are new, that will kind of give you the shape of the program. A reminder from the first timers orientation is that when you're getting participants getting coupons, they get coupons for a 16-week period. So that means they'll have that range of time, those 28 weeks to spend their coupons. Here's what the coupons look like. Though, of course, your farmer's market may start earlier or later than June 12th and may end before December 12th or carry on beyond that. But those are the days when the coupons can be redeemed. So just make sure you're aware of when the program and the farmers market ends in your community, so that you and the participants are aware of that and when they're actually can continue to use coupons and when it wraps up. So this is what the coupons look like this year. We spend a lot of time making sure that the design itself is unique from year to year, that the new year is on it. 2021 is there prominent. And for those who this is kind of their first time involved with the program this year, this is what a family or a participant will get every week from you for those 16 weeks. You can see that there's 7 different coupons. There's 5 of them are green and 2 of them are blue. I'll look at them a little closer on the next slide, but wanted to mention each of them will have a unique serial number on the back so that we know they get tracked towards to the community partner who's distributing the coupons. On the front here this year, we've added some language to vendors do not give change. That was some feedback we got from some participants and vendors that they were aware that some vendors would give change and participants knew which one that was. And and so we've tried to make that messaging clear because that's not allowed. Another thing we made sure of, we got feedback from markets that and partners that the perforations were not very perforated. So they are probably this year, I can tell you from handling the coupons and to getting them in the mail to you, they are more perforated. So partners, you may get some that have come a little bit apart in the mail because they are easy to pull apart. So make it easier for everyone involved. So a closer look at the coupons here on the front. These are two signs that we've created. These signs are provided to the farmers markets to put up on the stall of each vendor that accepts coupons. There's usually one, the one on the left. We've added the one on the right. It's a blue only. And I'll explain the difference for folks who are new, that the green coupons and the blue coupons can be used to purchase the following items. And they're listed there: vegetables, herbs, eggs, dairy, fruit, nuts, and a new item this year, vegetable and fruit plants. So the blue coupons, green coupons can be used for that, whereas the blue coupons can additionally be used for meat and fish. So that means each week, going back to the previous slide here, a participant will receive two $3 coupons or $6 a week that they can use towards meat and fish, though they could use it for any of the other items that a green coupon is accepted for. The second sign on the right is intended for your farmers or producers who only have meat or fish. So if it's just a rancher, if it's just a fisher, they don't have any produce, they don't sell eggs as well, then you can give them a blue sign. It helps make it more clear for a participant that the only coupons they can use at that stall are the blue ones. So already mentioned is that we do have a new eligible item. This was one of the outcomes of our advisory committee meeting to discuss potential eligible items. And this one was one that had widespread support amongst the funders, the staff, the participants, and community partners, farmers markets, and the farmers, is to add vegetable, fruit, and herb plants. It continues to meet the objective of providing healthy, nutritious local food to BC residents from BC farmers. In that, with this, they have being successful as a grower, they have a sustainable source of food for that season or even beyond. So that's the first time in 10 years we've made a change to what's eligible. So that's just good to know, because you'll have some vendors for whom that'll be a new item that they can offer up on the coupons. Another thing to talk about, there isn't, as Livia mentioned here, this is her second year being a regional coordinator. And we have regional coordinators now in 7 different regions. So I know some of you are calling in from other regions because this time worked for you to come on the call. So you'll see the name of your regional coordinator. With us having over 166 different partners in 85 different markets, it's become increasingly difficult for Talia and I to keep track of and support you all the way we would like you to be supported in being successful. So the regional coordinators are there. They're working part-time during the season to stay connected with you and support you in being successful. So you've got myself, you've got Talia, and in this region, you've got Livia to support you during the season. New markets and new communities, rather. There's a few places. So I see that Cheryl is here from Chetwynd on the call. Hi, Cheryl. That's from the north. And then there's some other communities that are listed there. As Talia mentioned, we've got good coverage already in the Kootenays because of the Columbia Basin Trust giving us the funding to add those other markets. And so we don't have any new ones this year, though we thought maybe adding the ability to have some Alberta-based farmers to some farmers markets that are on borders might bring some more markets on board, but not this year, maybe next year. But this is the funding we got from the Ministry of Health this year included an ability to reach more communities. And so we're able to do that. And since in the last 24 to 36 hours, we've been able to add another community too, so they're not even on the list yet. So. Oh, time for a short commercial break or an opportunity. When we were preparing the season and getting a few things for our regional coordinators, we thought that because of the current situation we're in, face masks might be necessary or helpful for site visits. And so then we ordered a few more. So we have on stock in our office 15 more. We had 80, but we only have 15 left, masks that are available for community partners or farmers markets to purchase if they'd like one. No pressure. It doesn't go to fund the program. It's just covering the cost. They are $8 plus tax each. And you use the discount code FMNCP at checkout, then it says it's $10.50. It'll bring the price down to $8 and include free shipping. But you have to place the orders this week because this is the week we're mailing out the coupons and we can bundle it in there for you. So Talia is going to drop a link in the chat if you're interested in purchasing masks. Now, just about to get into the exercise, but I'm going to touch on this in Talia. They'll talk about it more. We do have a lot of aspects of the program. We look for ways to support you. One of them is by providing grants for community partners. The transportation grants help deal with accessibility issues participants may have in getting to the market. It could be bus tickets, it could be carpooling or honorarium for a driver of a community bus. Then there's an ability to apply for that and receive some extra support for those participants. And Talia will talk about that. And then we've typically had, and then we suspended it last year, were fruit and vegetable grants, because then you could purchase food from the farmers markets for your skill building classes. Let's say you were going to do a cooking session or show people who are in the program examples of some simple, easy snacks and whatnot. So we had suspended them last year. Looks like the way that Dr. Bonnie was talking yesterday, by June 15th and then again by July 1st, gatherings will be allowed, small group gatherings. So we're likely to reinstate the fruit and vegetable grant so that you can do those things. Indeed, one community partner indicated to us that they have been doing online classes and they would love to take advantage of the grant and even offer up their class more broadly so that other communities and farmers markets could take advantage of their cooking class. So keep an eye on that. We'll give you an alert if we bring that up. All right, so Talia, any questions have come in that while I switch to my next section?
No questions.
Great. All right, so this is the exercise that I was talking about there at the beginning that we're going to do. We're going to split you into groups. If you've been to our in-person orientations, then you know that this is a normal way that we have in our orientations, or most people do in their meetings, is a chance to do some smaller group work. So you're either going to be on team potato, tomato, cherry, raspberry, asparagus, or carrot. I'm going to drop into the chat here the link to that so you can open that up on your screen, or if you because when you go off into your groups, you may not have the ability to get back to the questions here. You'll also be able to take a screenshot. Let me see. So that you can have a couple of you in the group can have it there. Okay, so into the chat. Here we go. All right, so there's the link. Oh no, that's not the link. That's for the masks. Here comes the right link.
That looks fine. It's a Google Doc link.
Oh, okay. Got it. I think that, okay.
I think you were looking at the one above it.
I was looking at the one above it. Yep, so that's right. And okay, so what you see that there are two questions there. One of them is a question that is of consideration for a community partner. Did my screen just change to something else? No, it didn't.
Yes, Dan Steels.
Yeah. Here we go, back to that. So there's a, for example, if you end up being on Team Potato, you'll be amongst yourselves discussing the question, what is the low income threshold for people in the program? And then you'll also be discussing how do farmers markets get money from BCFM to pay the farmers. So amongst the group you have, please come up with you can come up with a variety of things. One of them could be, you've got an answer. You could have multiple answers, or you may have a, we actually don't know. We didn't end up with any farmers market managers or any community partners in our group through the luck of the random draw. So that'll be your task for about 8 minutes to consider those two questions. Please identify a person to respond to the community partner question and a person to respond to the farmers market question. So welcome back. And so going over these questions, we'll start from the bottom and work our way up this time. Carrot, is there someone here who can represent Team Carrot and their two questions?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name's Jessica. I'm the manager of the Cranbrook Farmers Market. I'll answer the farmers market side. One of the farmers doesn't want to accept coupons. Is that okay? And it's not okay. They have to take the coupons if they have eligible items, and this prevents discrimination against our coupon recipients.
Yep, that's it exactly. That is, we have a lot of things that we're flexible on and on the program so that it works in your community. This is one we're not. If a farmer is selling at your market, if it's even for one day, and you accept coupons, they must accept coupons. So there isn't an exception to that rule or a flexibility around that rule. So make sure that they're on board and aware of that, because it's an equity issue. If someone can buy something with cash, they should be able to buy it with coupons if it's an eligible item. Thanks, Jessica. And someone else on your team want to speak to the giving out coupons to people in my community question?
Hi, my name is Pat, and I'm with the community groups, the partners in Cranbrook and Kimberley as well. So I give coupons out to people in my town, and another program gives out coupons in my town. Should we do anything to make sure people don't get coupons from each of us or from more than one program? And we have that situation in our region for sure. So we do get together as community partners and try to be sure that that people aren't registered on more than one community partner list. And that does involve sharing of names. So as one of our group participants indicated, there needs to be consent from participants to do that. And be sure that they give consent for us to be using their names outside of our own individual program. And the other part was that there was a suggestion made that on the application form there be included a question to the participant that would ask them to indicate whether or not they have enrolled in more than one program in the community to receive coupons. And then that would sort of put the onus on the participant to begin with, and also give us an opportunity to make them aware that that's not okay if they have registered in more than one place. Darn, I feel like I missed something, but Livia will let us know if I messed up, but I think those are the two biggest areas.
I think that's it, Pat. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You covered that really well, and you're in a unique position in Cranbrook. There are multiple partners, so appreciate your work on doing that. But in some communities where they don't, and you all work together really well, some communities, if you're not too familiar with your other partner, usually at this orientation, you'd get a chance to spend some time talking with them and getting to know them. Please do take that time this summer early on to get to know each other and come up with a way that is it works well between you to do that, even if it does include simply asking people to only sign up in one place if there's more than one place to sign up. If someone really feels that they need that extra support, your organization likely has other programs as well that you can supplement them with some other supports beyond them being enrolled in multiple programs around town. So Team Asparagus, someone here from Team Asparagus to answer those two questions.
Hi, I'm Team Asparagus. Yeah, our first question, can we use some of the coupons to buy food for our program? Our answer to that was no, but we're hopeful that the fruit and vegetable grants will be available again this year, and we can apply for those and use those monies to buy for our programs.
Roberta, you've kind of gone a little bit
Coupons, what's going on?
On your sound.
Oh, sorry.
We got the gist of it though. Are you
Okay.
handling the second question too?
I am. I'll
Okay.
do my best. Yeah. Potentially somebody is saving coupons so they can buy in bulk. Maybe they want to do some canning, or maybe they're saving some of the meat and vegetable coupons so they can buy more of a substantial amount of meat, not vegetables, of just meat, because you need more money for that. Perhaps transportation coming into town is an issue, so they're only coming in once a month instead of every week. So those could be some of the reasons.
Yeah, and we particularly last year, because of the fact that there were people who were vulnerable and weren't traveling as much to going out. Sometimes even a partner could be there doing some shopping on behalf of participants, or one of the participants is getting things for other people in the group or a family member. So there's a variety of reasons which are absolutely sensible why someone would show up with a huge stack of coupons. Like, we do encourage regular shopping and whatnot, but there's sometimes when that just happens. So how about, thank you, Roberta. How about Team Raspberry?
Yeah, hi there. This is Lori in Cranbrook, and I'm going to answer the first part of that question. What should I do if I have more sheets than people to give them to once things get rolling? We have a few different approaches that we identified. That we would increase the number of participants. Perhaps it means we just need to get more participants approved into the program. We have extended our distribution dates at the end of the program, at the end of 16 weeks. Last year we did have some coupons left over, so we extended beyond by a couple of weeks and made sure that those coupons were used up. I see that we have until December the 12th to get those coupons all redeemed. So there's some wiggle room there perhaps. And so, yeah, we tend to, if something is not distributed, then we'll carry those coupons forward to a future week. In terms of the families, if a large family showed up, we would delegate more coupons to a larger family if that was needed, and just make sure that they're very well used.
Great. Yeah, no, that covered it really well. I wanted to add that you came up with some great solutions on how to absorb coupons that are extra, that you determine are extra, by, extending the length that you give them out, and a few other things you talked about. But also consider that you're more than welcome to let us know, or your regional coordinator know, and we're happy to reallocate them if your capacity is less. Usually most people they have more people on their waiting list. But if the opposite is the case, we can shuffle them around and help you with that. Just give us a heads up. It's better to know than having someone saying, we're mailing you back a batch of coupons. We'd have rather put them into circulation.
Thank you. That's the other piece I did forget is we do keep a waiting list, and we tell people who are on the waiting list to come by our booth at the end of the coupon distribution time, so that if there are any coupons left over, we can give them to them right then and there.
Great. Thanks. And who were you going to also answer the farmers market question?
Gina. Gina, can you unmute and answer that one?
Okay, so basically it's a big no-no, and we let everybody know at the very beginning, sorry, you can't, it's not acceptable. And if they do, they'll be reported. If somebody, I think I've never caught anybody, and if I did catch them, I would probably tell them, remind them again, and if it wasn't, then I'd probably I would report it. But I also noticed that vendors are pretty amazing, and what they'll do is if somebody's short, they'll throw in a little extra. So I've never seen it to ever be an issue, really.
Yeah, that covers it. It's important to let your vendors know that that's not part of how the program operates, and to keep the integrity of the program, which is that the coupons are intended for those eligible items. Making it, converting some of it into change or cash means that you don't have control over that anymore. And again, tons of flexibility in the program, but that's one area where we're fairly strict on, so that our funders feel confident in us being able to manage a complicated program with many moving parts.
Can I also add that we do the education from the client side on that as well, let them know from the get-go that change will not be issued. So, for example, if they're going to buy a $6 item and they only have a $5 coupon, make sure that they got some loonies and toonies in their pocket, so that they're not going to lose out on potential savings.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for that, Lori. That's a good addition too. Team Cherry, who's on board for Team Cherry? All right. Cheryl, you're muted.
You unmuted me. Thank you. Didn't know that was a thing. It's Cheryl from the Chetwynd Farmers Market. I have managed it here for a few years, and this is our first year in the coupon program. I understand, as the focus, we are trying to provide an equity among our community to purchase fresh, local foods, fresh produce and meats, eggs, that kind of thing. We are a little bit limited in the types of vendors we have. So we had a good discussion on what it was like to be a vendor in the north, where we had snow yesterday. And we generally don't have produce at the market till close to mid-July. So it's a little bit challenging up in the north, but I understand the concept of it. So provides lower income families, pregnant women, and seniors. So our community is really looking forward to this. I have a great community partner, and we're going to kick it off on June 12th. And what was the second? Oh, the second question was, one of the vendors turned in coupons from last year, and we just said hard no on that one.
Yeah, thanks. That's the case. The money that that folks, the money that's left over from the coupons last year, there's some, about $120,000, but we just added more families this year. So that's where that money has gone. So this is something that's key to remind the markets, for your markets, to remind your vendors to keep an eye out on only accepting this year's coupons because of that fact. And I think, as Lori mentioned, let the participants know if you happen to find some that you didn't use last year, they're not valid anymore. They've expired. So that'll reduce the confusion if at the start of the season, that's kind of laid out very clearly. Even sometimes farmers will find a little batch, they dust off their cash box that they didn't use every time and find some in there. And again, unfortunately, we've already invested the money in this year's program. So thanks. Team Tomato. Who can speak to Team Tomato?
Hi, I'm answering the community partner question. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. My name is Martha, and I work with the Food Bank in Golden, BC. And it seems like, so just to reread the question, how often do I give out the sheets of coupons? Seems like there's a little bit of maneuverability. This is going to be my first year, so I'm definitely learning a lot so far. But yeah, between the communities that were represented in Team Tomato, it seems like often they're given out bi-weekly to participants, and then weekly once it's the summer's sort of getting ramped up. So it sounds like, yeah, like weekly is great if they're being used, and bi-weekly if they're not being used as much. Yeah, and I think it's just dependent on the clients and participants that we have and what their needs are.
Yeah, and that gets back to that point of where the program is flexible. People were giving them out on a pattern based on last year's situation and how often people were able to connect to get to the market and whatnot. And this year it might go back to more of a normal rotation, but it's up to you to decide what works best. We just appreciate and the people benefit from some level of regularity. So were you also going to talk on the farmer side, or was someone else on your team going to talk about that?
I will talk for the farmer side. So my name is Caroline. I manage the coupon program for the Golden Farmers Market. So within our group with the tomatoes, we had different ways of doing things. Some reimburse with cash after each market. Some collect the coupons after each market, but then reimburse once a month by check. And some collect every other week and reimburse by check at the same time. So again, there's a lot of flexibility and adaptability on how and when we reimburse the farmers.
Yep. Yeah, that hit it nail on the head there. How you pay them is something that you negotiate amongst your farmers and your market, and the person who handles the bank at your farmers market come up with a system that works out well. Good. Thanks, Carolyn. And then for Team Potato, you've got the last two questions of this activity.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Kathy from Nelson. And so the first question is, what is the low income threshold? And all of us had a little bit of different answers. Some people went by BC Housing. Some people went, numbers from provincial government. Most of us did just are you self-identified? Personally, we ask, are you unemployed or underemployed? And then another community partner said that they asked, are you unable to afford the fresh produce that you would like to over the summer? So it was, there was a variety of answers to that one.
Perfect. Again, showing that's where there's program flexibility, where we leave that in your hands to determine what works best in your community, either an existing standard you use or even just asking people to self-disclose. So thanks, Kathy. Appreciate that.
And then the second question, how do farmers markets get money from the association to pay farmers? And I'm assuming they go through you, Peter, or the local coordinator.
Yeah. So the short of it is at the beginning of the season next week. In fact, we're going to send out in advance to all the farmers markets across BC. And then when you report how many coupons you received every week at the farmers market, we're able to see how much money you have left. Once it reaches a certain threshold where you're getting close to running out, we send you more. So it's how we get you money. We'll send it directly to your bank account through a bank transfer. So it's very easy for you to get it that way. And it also shows why it's important for us to get your weekly reports, because if we don't know you've redeemed coupons and are running out of money, we don't know to send you more, and we don't want to leave you in a lurch, because it can be a little tricky to get it very often. We're a fairly small operation, but that system works really well. So thanks everyone for this exercise. I'm going to stop the share and hand the reins over to Talia.
Okay, let's do this. All right, so can you all see my screen okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yep. Perfect. So I'm going to get into more of the how to do certain things and kind of flip between this presentation as well as actually showing you the materials and things like that. So we're going to talk about orienting participants and vendors, then a little bit about food literacy, the reporting, and I'll go through the steps of what to do and then what happens when you report to us. I'm going to do a walkthrough of Member 365, which is our new membership platform that we're using, and also show you some more spots on the tools and resources page. And I'll also cover like where you can apply for the transport grants, where you can order additional coupons if you have funding, and things like that. So as it was sort of talked about in the little question time, you do need to orient all of your vendors, even those who don't sell eligible items. And we have a handout for you this year to help with that. And then enroll all of your vendors who do sell eligible items. We have the enrollment form combined with the vendor handout this year. So you'll be able to give that to them, make sure they've read through all of the terms, and then they can fill out that enrollment form and give it back to you. And then we don't ever collect those forms back from you, but we do ask for the year-end vendor report, which is just an Excel spreadsheet. And we recommend that you fill it in as you go so that you don't have to go back through all of those forms towards the end of the season when I start asking for it. So let's have a look at those materials. This first one here is the vendor guide. Now it's like a big tabloid size and it is a trifold. So it won't quite look like this because that is a really weird layout to do. It'll fold up and look like a brochure. But basically on the front, we've got a table of what can be purchased with coupons and a little new tag for the fruit and veggie plants. And then once they open it up, they'll get all of these guidelines and the expectations for the program. So what can't be purchased, how to prepare their stall, and highlighted in blue. Really important that the sign that you give them, or if you're putting the signs up at the beginning of each market, is displayed on the front of the tent. So just have someone check that, because if it is back at the cash register, we have heard from participants that they don't necessarily know if that vendor will accept coupons and are maybe a bit shy to go up and ask. So just have it clearly on the front so it can be seen by everyone. you know, you've got to accept coupons if you sell eligible items, can't give change, get 2021 only, the dates, and just a bit about how they receive coupons. And then some instructions for enrolling. So we have this form here on the side now. So they'll be able to read through everything. Something we've added this year is this statement for them to check off on, that I have read and agree to accept farmers market nutrition coupons as per the program guidelines. So just knowing that it has been 10 years, a lot of the vendors are the same, a lot of the markets are the same, just to sort of re-emphasize those points that have been coming up, like the change and stuff like that. They sign off on it. This helps you if you have any issues. So if someone doesn't want to accept the coupons, or if you find that they are giving change, you can sort of show that you've got this agreement for the program to back you up. And then finally, a consent box to receive communications from BC Farmers Markets about vendor opportunities and other things. We take this very seriously. You know, it's a legal requirement that we don't email anyone that we don't have permission to email. So if they don't check this box, or if they leave it blank, I take it as a no. We don't email anyone. So if people are concerned, you can reassure them that the no means no. The other thing we have for you this year is a one-page handout for vendors who don't sell eligible items. So you should be able to give this to everyone at your market, except for the vendors who do sell eligible items. Basically, it's just highlighting that this is a healthy eating initiative supported by the province and PHSA, what can be purchased with coupons, and then some of those things that we have already discussed. So what if a participant asks to buy my non-eligible items? Just some wording around that. Can I accept coupons and use them to purchase eligible items from fellow vendors? No, coupons have to be spent by a participant on eligible items. And then why are they only for certain things? So just about that, this is a program about nutrition at its core, and the government wants to increase fruit and veggie consumption. Then just a few more sentences about how this is a really big program. We're in over 85 communities. We've got so many markets and partners. It's really important that we maintain the integrity, and that's why we've been able to do it for 10 years, and we don't want to lose that. So hopefully this helps you with those conversations if things come up, because, you know, it's got our logo on it. It's really clear that it's not the market's decision. And it can be easy for the vendor as well, if they do get a question from someone, that they sort of got a piece of paper there to back them up. So just back to the enrollment form, once this is filled in, they would tear them off and give it to you, cut them off. It's not perforated like the coupons are, but it will be folded. So hopefully it's not too hard. And then, oh, did I not open? I didn't open it. So I'm just going to show you what the vendor report looks like as well. So once you start collecting those enrollment forms, you can fill this in as you go. It's just the transfer of that information to us. Just please make sure that you do fill in your market name and who filled the report in. I know some of you will mail this back to us with your coupons, and because I don't live in the Lower Mainland anymore, they first get sent to Meredith and then they all come to me. So if you're not emailing it to me, I won't necessarily know what market it's from, because I won't have the envelope anymore. So just please make sure that you do tell me who you are. And then you can send it back to me, whether that's email or you are posting it. December 1st is written on this form. That's just kind of when we hope to have the vast majority back, because we expect that most markets will have closed up by then. But if you are year round and you are going all the way until the end of the program on December 11, and you might have some vendors dropping in, it's okay. You can get it back to us by that date. It's just more of a indication for most markets, not the ones who are year round. And I'm just going to open up the participant report and then go back to the presentation. And please feel free to ask questions as we go. Otherwise, we'll get to them at the end and you can post them in chat too. Okay, so participants, really similar sort of process. You need to enroll them all in the program, and we have a form for you that you can print off or do electronically. We've also got the fillable PDF. Because we're not sending those to you as a hard copy compared to the markets where we are sending you hard copies of those things. Just make sure that your participants know about the market, how to shop safely, what they can expect this year, especially if they are new, and then expectations for your program, which I'm sure you're all across, telling people what's in person, what's not, when you need to wear a mask and all of those sorts of things. So just be really clear about that. And in particular, emphasize eligible items. And I'll show you the resource that we send you to help with that. And also fill in the year-end participant report as you go. It's also a spreadsheet that we use to collect all of the data that goes on the forms, because we don't need the forms themselves. So this is, I'm just gonna go fit to one page, but basically it's just like a kind of two-sided thing that's about this size. So really easy to hold on to. We've really stripped it down this year. We got some feedback from a partner who joined us last year who worked with low literacy adults. And we just thought, you know what, that's really good advice. Let's make it easy for everyone. So this is the front of it. There's an image of what the sign looks like, so they know what to look for, what the coupons look like this year. And then, you know, the expiry, no change, you can't sell or trade them. And then on the back of that is this visual, which we hope is helpful for them to clearly understand what the eligible items are. So green coupons, you can get all of these things, and blue coupons is also the fish, seafood, and meat. And we've got the new tags, so they know that they can get the plants this year. And remove the word cut, so the plants also includes herbs, and they're more readily available throughout the whole summer, as opposed to tomatoes and stuff, which you kind of just get earlier in the beginning. So we send you hard copies of that you can hand out whether you see your participants in person or if you're mailing these out to them. It's available electronically too, so you can email it. And they're not uploaded yet, but I do have sitting in my flagged items all of the translated materials that I just need to convert to a PDF, make sure they all line up, and I'll put those on the partner portal and let you know when they are there for you. This is what the enrollment form looks like to enroll your participants with. Pretty much the same as last year. We added email and cell this year because some people said, you know, we don't ask for contact information. That's been because we don't need that, but we understand that most of you probably need to know how to get in touch with people. So that's there for you. You can also edit this. So it is available as a Word document. So just capture their details and then the demographic data. It's really important that we do know how many people in the household, including the participant, are pregnant, under 19, or a senior elder, and then the total number. And then also if they are Indigenous. And if so, are they First Nations, Métis, or Inuit? So the Ministry of Health really likes to see this because they've got all of their different mandates and stuff that they're working on. And we also like to look at this information and see who we're working with and how many people we're reaching. And then hopefully over the next couple of years, we can start to do more with these populations, you know, Indigenous or otherwise, but specifically Indigenous, to get to food sovereignty type levels, and what role can the farmers market play in that. Just like the vendor enrollment form, there is the agreement that they sign off on, so they understand what the program is, who it's for, and that the coupons are just for their families or their personal use. Sign off on that. And then on the second page is areas of support. So participants can indicate what they might want to learn about for the food literacy side of things. So they can let you know on here, that can help you plan your activities. Or they might not want to know anything, but they might have something to offer, whether that's like showing a family recipe or something like that. So we really encourage you to draw on participants' knowledge where you can, because it's very fun. And this is also available as a fillable PDF. So if you are enrolling people over the phone or sending it out to them, you can do that electronically as well. So you keep those forms. We don't need to get them back from you, but we do need you to fill in this report. Very similar to the vendor one, just has the participant questions. So fill it in as you go, just makes it a bit easier. And please also just be sure to tell me who you are, because I won't necessarily know if it comes through the mail or comes through a personal email or something like that. So just make sure the partner name and your name is on there. Participant initial, first name, or a unique code. We don't need people's full names ever. Even in the past, if someone sends me people's full names, I will usually just renumber them, because it's just a privacy thing, right? Like, we don't need to know who gets them. So yeah, they can be numbered or alphabetized or whatever works for you. Fill in this demographic info, how many people are in the household. December 1st, again, is the kind of deadline for this. Once we get it back, as well as your weekly reports, we send out an honorarium to you if you get one. And I usually start asking for this as well as the vendor report in October, because by that point you may have given out all of your coupons. But again, I'll keep reminding you over the couple of months. We just like to start the process then. The main thing I do ask, which is highlighted here in orange, is to please use whole numbers for these last two columns. So typing in the number 1 as opposed to spelling out O-N-E. And if people are answering yes to these first questions here, to mark that with a Y. It just makes it easier for me to aggregate everything when I get all these forms together, because we do pull it all into one report. Not the end of the world if you don't do it that way. I can totally manage otherwise. But if you remember, then that is appreciated. Okay, so that is enrolling. Going to talk a bit about food literacy skill building now. And I'll show you some places on the partner portal later on, before we finish up. Basically, this is can be shared by both the market and the community partner. But we understand that the community partner probably does more of the really hands-on stuff. The market might want to do tours when we're able, of course, or chef demonstrations and things like that. So if you do have those sort of food literacy events happening at your market, just let your community partner know so they can tell participants. Recipe cards are good, hand them out at the market. Vendors often have them. You can send them out with mail outs, give them to people when they pick up their coupons. Closed groups for participants, whether it's a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group, or they're using something else, can be a good way for them to stay in touch. We don't expect you to run this. It's just a suggestion that you might want to put out there for participants to stay in touch with each other throughout the season, because they'll be experiencing the same market together and they'll be accessing the same sorts of produce, and they might want to show what they did with a new vegetable or what made it easier for them to take their kids and things like that. Cooking classes, online, in person, in small groups. Again, draw on participants if they want to share a family recipe or show people how to make something that's really popular in their home country. It's always a lot of fun. And if you're doing any of this stuff online, let us know, because I love to come to them when I can and just sort of see what's going on. I'm sure your regional coordinators would love to. So yeah, just let us know if we're able to attend, of course. What's in season resources are particularly good to share. So we have these on our website, bcfarmersmarket.org, separated by region and by month. But to get even more specific, just follow your farmers market on Facebook, subscribe to their newsletter, encourage your participants to do this as well, because you'll get, community level information about what's growing where you are, and also what vendors will be at the market each week. So that can sort of feed into the how to write a shopping list, how to do a meal plan. It just helps people get an idea of what they can see each week. Now, the other resource that is available to you that I haven't got on this screen is Food Skills for Families. Last year, they didn't do any sessions because of COVID, obviously. This year, I think they're still waiting to sort of see what the summer might look like for them. Basically, Food Skills for Families is a train the trainer model where they will teach you how to go through like a 6-week, how to take people through a 6-week course. You get recipe books, resources. It's really, really great. If you have any questions about it, ask Monica. She's the Metro Vancouver regional coordinator, because she has done more of these than anyone in the province with her role as a community partner. When they become available again, we'll let you know straight away, and we'll let you know how to get in touch with them. And then also, if you do reach out and want to do these courses, tell them that you're in the coupon program, because we're extra special and we have a good working relationship with them, so they will prioritize you. Okay. So now onto the reporting. I'll go through a couple of slides and then I'll show you how to do the report, how to edit your report, and how it gets into the dashboard, what you can use that for. So partners, we ask you for a weekly distribution report, how many coupon sheets you gave out, and please fill this in even if you gave out no coupons. So if you're doing bi-weekly, if you're doing monthly, if your hours are staggered throughout the season, just let us know so we know that our data is up to date and that, you're still there running the program. You haven't been pulled off to do vaccine clinics or contact tracing, a lot of which happened last year. Year-end participant report, I've already showed you. That's the Excel spreadsheet. So I'll start asking for that in October. It's due in December. And then in August, I will start to send out reminders for the participant quick surveys. These are available electronically on SurveyMonkey. Then we also have a for print PDF, because not everybody has access to a computer. That gives us really good participant feedback about how they access the program. And I'll show you where that goes, where you can use it as well at the end of this. Markets, more or less the same, except you're telling us how many coupons were accepted at your market. Even if none were accepted, or you run a bi-weekly market, please mark as 0 so we know that it's up to date, that you haven't been shut down or anything like that. Year-end vendor report, again, I start asking for this in October. It's due in December or by the 11th if you're a year-round market. The Excel spreadsheet. Vendor quick surveys will go out in August. We don't usually get too many of these, but we've started to get more and more over the years, and it's really interesting information for us and also for the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Fisheries. So it's more asking about how far people travel to get to their market, if they do anything to support participants, do they see them after the program ends, just interesting stuff like that. Also available electronically and for print, so you can hand them out at your market. And then kind of a report is that you need to mail your coupons back to us every month. I'll show you the steps and resources we send you to do this. But yeah, we need to get them back every month to check them against the online reports and do some auditing and counting, which is a really good opportunity to binge on podcasts, let me tell you. So I'm going to go through the reporting process now. There are 2 places that you can find the report that you need to fill in. It's a Google form. We send it to you weekly in an email, weekly reminders. separate emails to partners and markets, so you only get the report for yourself. It will be embedded in the email, and there will also be a link. I know sometimes for me, embed codes don't necessarily show up in my email host, so you'll get it there. But then if you just can't find it, or someone is asking you to fill it out, or you're going back to catch up on a few, you can always find them on the Coupon Program Partner Portal. This is just on our website, so this one's open. You don't need a login or anything. Just come to bcfarmersmarket.org, hover over Coupon Program and click on Partner Portal. And I'm going to give you a bit of a tour of this later on. But for now, there are 2 tabs, Markets and Partners, and then a Submit Your Weekly Reports subject down the bottom. This is what it looks like right now. One day you might show up and it looks more like this. So this is our general membership tools and resources page. They updated this towards the end of last year, but the coupon program was still going. So we asked for them to just hold off on doing that until we'd finished, so people didn't get confused, and we're just waiting now to hear back from them. So if you can't find anything, if it does look to you, just reach out to us or search what you're looking for. But basically, just click on that. Come June 12, every single link for every single week will be up here, so you'll be able to do them at any time, especially for those midweek markets. So you just click on the week that you're looking for, unless you're doing it through the emailed version, and the report pops up. It's got the dates. Just put in your email address. It's a drop down for the community partners, because we need to make sure that all of the spaces and dashes and everything are in the right spot for the dashboard. And then you tell us how many sheets you gave out. So let's say 35. Those first 3 questions are mandatory, so you have to fill those in. It won't let you submit without them. And then the final 2 are optional. So if you did any food literacy activities, we always really like learning about that. We may reach out to you for details to share. And then if you have any other questions, challenges, or stories, we're always really happy to hear stories that we can post on our social media if you're doing anything interesting or fun. These are also monitored, which is why we collect the email address. So if you do put a question in here, you should hear back within a week. The fact that we have 7 regional coordinators means that you might hear back faster than when it was just me checking through all of those. So you submit it, then you will get an email.
Natalia,
Yeah.
can that report be saved in progress and submitted later? If I got halfway through it and had to go answer a client?
Ooh, I don't know. I've never had that question before. I don't believe so. Let me have a look.
Laurie, I think you would be safe to say that you can submit anytime, and then you can go back and edit it if you want to change something or add something else.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
Yeah.
I'm going to show you how to do the edit. So it doesn't look like you can save it. So yeah, I would do what Livia's suggested.
So it is available even after it's been submitted. We can
Yes.
still go back and edit.
Yep, you can still go back and edit, and we ask that you do edit as opposed to submitting a new response. So this is the email that you get. It comes from Google Forms. If I was going to save this, I use Apple Mail, so I would probably just have like a specific flag, or maybe you've got a folder that you put it into. Whatever your process, please save this, because this is how you will edit it. It's also a record if you want to double check what you filled in. So let's say that I sent this off and I either accidentally hit the wrong community connections. I'm actually in Cranbrook, not Revelstoke. I need to go back and update that. So this is where you hit edit. If you submit a new report, the way that the dashboard is set up through Google Sheets, it only grabs the first thing it sees for your organization. So if you submit something else, it kind of comes below that, and that number just won't be picked up. Whereas if you edit it, it updates what that first cell is. So really, really, really important that you do it that way if needed. Or alternatively, if you're having trouble locating this email and you have noticed a mistake, you can just let me know. So yeah, I'm editing, I'm coming in, I'm actually better at home, not Revelstoke. I'm going to hit submit, and you'll get the same email to show that you edited it. So that's that. Farmers markets. Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I just add a note there?
Please do.
Yeah, it's just a good reminder, because we have so many partners in markets that it is easy to kind of sometimes select the wrong one there, especially with the similar names, and it does mess it up with the two partners numbers, because the other one will be with the higher number and you'll be short. So just make sure you select the right name for your organization. And like Talia said as well, if you made a mistake, instead of submitting a new one, just make sure to go back and edit the one that you submitted first, because also it would add another layer of complications to fix up the numbers.
Yeah, for sure. And if you are confused by the program name or whatever, just let me know, because I can confirm who you're named as. And if you don't see yourself there, definitely let me know, because we'll need to add you. Or, if you decide that you're going to be separating two of your programs to report separately throughout the season, we can edit all of that as we go as well. So farmers markets, I'm just going to show you what your form looks like. I won't go through all of the steps, but basically it's pretty much the same thing. You've just got it's the markets report, email, the name of your farmers market from the drop down, and then the number of coupons that were redeemed is what you need to fill in this report. And then two other optional questions. Did you face any challenges relating to COVID? And then any additional comments, questions, and observations. So that's how you do it. What happens to those reports when you send them to us? They go into a raw data spreadsheet. That's kind of the back end of the reporting process. And then that all gets pulled into the dashboard, which you can have a look at, and which is what we use to track progress and also pay farmers markets. We'll send out a link in every reporting reminder. It's just kind of standard in there. Otherwise, you can find it in dashboard. It's probably the most obvious place. But as you just saw, it is linked in the weekly reports and also program materials. Now, this is the 2020 dashboard that I'm going to show you. 2021 has no information in it, so it would be very boring and pointless. What we're also going to have this year is regional dashboards, as well as the provincial dashboard. So they'll be broken up as per the regions that your coordinators are separated out into. Couple of reasons. We're hoping this will help more regional collaboration, getting that sort of regional information, which is some feedback we got through our annual conference this year. And then also it will help the regional coordinators who are due get in touch with you faster. So you can just click on that. Anyone from the public can look at this if they really want to. It's just a Google sheet. All of the cells are locked, so you won't be able to edit anything. No one can update your numbers by mistake, don't worry. What you see on the first page here is the provincial dashboard. So this first big chart is redemption over the weeks, what partners gave out, what markets brought in, and then the overall redemption, and also same time last year. And I'm sorry if you can hear my neighbors mowing. I hope that's not too annoying, or maybe it's not coming through. So yeah, it's good to just compare, especially to what was happening same time last year. Our redemption was a little bit lower because of COVID, but also programs like this only average 60 to 80% redemption across North America. So we're already above the average. And we had a lot more coupons out there last year because people were purchasing more with their COVID relief funding and food relief funding. So super happy with that still. Even though we went below our usual 90, it's still like super impressive. Good work for everyone involved. The green bar, as you can see at the end of the season, we always get these big spikes. We want to avoid them as much as possible, but we always see them, and it happens for a number of reasons. But some of the tips around getting coupons spent more regularly throughout the season, even if you are in one of those regions that doesn't have produce until July, so you don't see them all come in October, November, is to just share those what's in season resources. Let people know that if they don't get to the market during a certain month, then they might miss out on cherries, or they might miss out on leeks, or just the most amazing fresh lettuce. So you can use that as a way to sort of incentivize people. Then if we scroll down, you've got your comparison by community. So you can come into the drop down and find your community and take a look at what was going on and what is going on. So let's just use Squamish as an example. The number of spots in your community is listed here. So the market, you will have an idea of what is still there to come in. Up the front, you get the farmers market or markets, where you've got two, and then partner or partners and what they've given out. And then your community redemption to date. So basically you can have a look at this if things are feeling a bit slow, or you just want to take a look partway through the season and sort of use it as a way to get in touch with the partner or market to figure out how you can get more coupons being spent more regularly, how you can support participants. I can see Creston is currently in there. And yeah, so this is really great. We'll also use it to just get in touch with you if things are seeming a bit slower in your community, see how we can support you there. And as you saw with Squamish, you can have more than 100% redemption. That just means that people are coming from other communities to your market for whatever reason. You know, they're visiting family, they've got a medical appointment, they want to go see a meat vendor. That can happen as well. So that's not unusual. Now, all of those numbers come from these two tabs, which are the markets and partner tabs. Basically, these are just the aggregation of everything that you tell us during the week. So this might be where you spot an error and you need to go back to edit. You can also use this to just check that your books are lined up. I always get a call from a couple of markets every year to kind of go through their books and confirm everything. So we're happy to do that. Or if we've reached out to you and said, hey, can you update some reports? You can just come in here to double check what's missing, although we do tell you. Community partners, just keep in mind, yes, this is a huge number. You didn't give out 1,000 sheets. It's been multiplied by 7 when it comes in. There are 7 coupons per sheet, and markets are reporting on individual coupons. So feel free to use that if needed, or don't even ever look at it and just stick to the provincial dashboard. Totals and communities, you probably never need to look at these tabs. It's just how I set up the charts. But if you want to see how a VLOOKUP works, that's where you can find it. It's kind of mostly what it's all built on. And then the final one I'll show you on the dashboard is the market finances tab. So really important for markets, this is what we use to pay you. So you can see in June 8, might not be the 8th this year, closer to the 12th, we send out an advance to every single market. So 1/3 of what we expect you to redeem throughout the season. So if you're a new farmers market or you have updated your banking details since last year, please send a void check. It can just be a PDF of it. It doesn't have to be an actual check to Meredith. I sent out her email address in the last newsletter. I'll send out another reminder about this, but she'll need to set you up in Telpay to make sure that we can issue these advances. So yeah, everyone gets one in June. The first two columns are how many coupons you redeemed and then their value. And then we also put in here the total allocation for your partners and how much of that has been redeemed at your market. It goes red when you've spent over 80% of your funds that we've sent you, and then we'll issue you some more money, because we want to make sure that you always have more than you need, so you don't get stuck on a busy weekend unable to pay your vendors. But if that does ever happen and you do run out of money, it will be in your account by the next week, so you can just let them know if they can get it at the next market or anything. And then as you scroll over to the right, you can just see if any payments are coming your way. Red just means that your market's closed, so don't worry too much about that. So that's where that is. So yeah, really important that you get those reports in on either the Sunday or the Monday, because Monday mornings is when I will go through and check this, because it's one of our accounting days. I take into account, are there long weekends coming up? So we'll send particularly those more tourist destinations a bigger boost. I take into account if, the two people who have to sign off, if they're going on vacation, we might send you some more money to get through it when they're not able to approve any payments. So just get your reports in, and yeah, we really try to make sure that you're all okay. All right, so that was the dashboard and how to submit your weekly reports. Now, mailing coupons, farmers markets. As mentioned, we need you to mail your coupons back every month for us to check them. So separate them by week. You're probably already doing this at the end of each market. And then apply the sticky label, which I will show you, that has your market name, the dates, and a place for you to write in the number of coupons that is in that parcel. Either wrap them up with a rubber band, put them in a paper bag or a Ziploc bag, whatever you've got around. Just make sure that it's really clear what week they're from, what market they're from, and how many are in that bundle. Because just remember, while you are counting them every week, we count them as well. So it just makes it easier for us to do those audits. Then we asked you to complete a packing slip, which I'll show you. We're sending you hard copies of these this year, so you don't need to print them out. You just need to trim them in half. It might seem like a bit of double up to write it out twice, but the reason we do it is when they go to Meredith now, she can just have a quick look and flag any discrepancies between what was sent in and the online reports to be able to start checking those months, or we can reach out to you to ask. Bundle them up, pack them up carefully, put them in a box, put them in an envelope, just something that won't explode in the back of a Canada Post van. It has happened, so it's okay if it does, but just try to put them together. It's great to see what your dog eats or what shoes you like to wear. That's what a lot of people use to send them in, or what's your favorite cereal. They're pretty good boxes for sending back coupons. And then apply your prepaid mailing label, make note of a return address, and post it. So this year we're sending you the mailing labels already. You don't have to go to the Canada Post website and enter your details or find a code or anything like that. We've got about 1,000 sitting in the office that get charged to us once they get scanned in. So that's why we're just asking you to make note of a return address on that or on the parcel, just in case it goes missing, because that won't get printed off anymore. So the sticky labels I'm talking about are these. They come to you hard as a hard copy. It's just got your market name, the week, and you can write the number of coupons. So it's 2 sheets of those for each week. If you misplace these, just let me know. I can send you the electronic file so you can print some off. And then the packing label. Can I get rid of this Zoom thing? I don't know if anyone can even see it. I would like to access the tabs, please. And then these are the packing slips, is what they look like. So yeah, just trim it in half, write the number of coupons in here. It's already got your market name. And yeah, pop your name in there too. So if you find that in June or you're up in the north, so even in July, you haven't seen a whole lot of coupons come through, you can, like 200 or less, you can hold them off into the next month just to help out with our postage budget. Or if you're like quite a remote small community market, you've only got a few spots, just let me know because we can just get them all from you in one go at the end of the season. So yeah, everything is getting mailed to you. Hopefully it makes things a lot easier because I know some people have had trouble with the links in the past. It doesn't always work for whatever reason. So keep a hold of that package that we give you, keep it somewhere safe. Okay, so Member 365, I am delighted to show you this year. Very excited about it. It is what you applied with this year. So if you're a market, it might have been really annoying because it was sending you emails and you had to go to some different places, but it has a membership portal available, which we're going to try and use as much as possible. So really familiarize yourself with this. This is where you can apply for transport grants this year. We've got a store set up for buying coupons. You can access all of the market and partner information across the province in here. Super, super useful. Just head to program materials and then click on Member 365 login. It will take you to a login page. You can see if you have not set up yet, you can just click on forgot password, or you can let us know and we can reset that for you. Basically, you open it up, you've got a little welcome, tells you what programs you're enrolled in. It'll probably just be one, but there are some of you who do both. And then up the top here will be any alerts. So when the transport grants open, there'll be a message there. When the fruit and veg vouchers come back, if they do, there'll be a message there. So that can give you an idea just straight away of what is on offer. First thing I want to show you how to do is how to add someone to your Member 365 account. Because anyone who's working on this program with you should probably have access to this. Just go to my account, hit employee accounts, pick the program. But again, you'll probably just have one there anyway. You can either send an invite to them by putting in their email address, or you can just create the account for them and they will be notified. So we've started to see more of these come in, which is great. Definitely encourage you to do this if you have other people who don't have access already. You can update your contact information in here by just going to my profile. So you've got your contact info, addresses, email changes, name changes, change of organization name. You can reset your password. Payment information is not relevant. So that's great, because at some point we'll probably start doing more communications through Member 365. We just have to wait for a couple of things to be ready there. Workspaces, we don't have anything set up yet, but these are kind of like places to collaborate with each other. And we'll probably use this during our conference calls throughout the season to do some things together. Or you can create one for yourself and invite people from your region or for the program. The other thing I want to show you about, which I'm just so excited about, is the directory. So if you click on FMNCP, this will show you all of the markets and partners in the province, as well as their contact information and the person's name. You can filter by either community partner or by farmers market. So if you're just looking for those people, if you're a market looking for your partner, or vice versa, or you want to see who else is in your community or region to work together, you can search by town and things like that. Super, super happy that this is available to everyone now. You can download it as an Excel sheet, but I don't recommend that because then it becomes static. So if someone does update their email address, you won't necessarily know about that. The other thing I want to show you is forms. So ignore this. I've been saying this for whatever number orientation this is, and I just haven't turned it off yet. Ignore analytics. It does not do what we were told it would do, and we're just waiting for that to get updated. But if you do click on forms, you can see we have the transportation grant form set up here. And then anything else that comes up will be put in here as well. And I will show you where else you can find this if you can't log in to Member 365 for whatever reason. Pretty much the same as a Google form that it used to be on, it's just done through here now. Transport grants up to $300 in value per community partner. Deadline to apply is June 30th, and then we mail out checks until funds are exhausted. These are typically applied for by the community partner for gas vouchers or bus tickets or anything like that that supports the participant getting to the market. But if you are the farmers market and you are able to do something as well, you're welcome to apply. We'll probably just reach out to you to chat about what your plans are. Hit continue, fill in the details, tell us what you're using it for, how much money you need, because you might want less than 300, and submit. And then we get all of those. The other place that you can find the transport grant form is on the partner portal. And this is also where fruit and veg ones will show up. So if you just click on grants, you can see the form is here, and it doesn't require you to log in to fill this in. It's just done through that site. We also notify you in our newsletter when these things become available, so you don't need to be going back and checking this every day. You'll get a notification from us. So if I go back to the Member 365 portal, the last thing I want to show you in here is kind of a backwards demonstration of how you would order coupons if you have funding. So I just went into my account and hit invoices and receipts. This is where you will be able to see the invoice for any coupon orders that you've made. Now, to order coupons, if you've got extra funding, if you've already done this, as in sent us an email and told us you've got $5,000 or $1,000, don't worry, you don't have to do this. It's already set up. You're going to get those coupons. But from next week onwards, this is how you will tell us if you have extra funding to buy more coupons. So there's two spots. Order coupons for your community. And there are two ways that you can do this. There's the Member 365 store, which I'll show you in a moment. And then we also have the Van City Donor Fund. The difference between the two is the Van City Donor Fund will generate a charitable tax receipt, which we can't do directly because we aren't set up as a charity. It just costs a little bit more. So it's $25 per sheet instead of $21 because there are some hosting costs and fees that Van City charge us. And more coupons means additional work. So there is a small honorarium that comes out of each sheet that is purchased through this site. So this can be really good to lead people to if they're just, you know, an individual who's wanting to make a donation, or they're like a company that's got a bunch of money and they're not necessarily looking to do it directly through the partner. So that's there for you. The other place is the Member 365 store, which you can access through here, or alternatively, you can click on coupon program and buy coupons. And it takes you to Member 365. It'll probably log you in if you're already logged in, which is handy. I'll show you why in a minute. This is the only item we have in our store. $21 per sheet. You may purchase additional coupons for your program, and we will mail your coupons to your chosen program. So we mail them before we get payment. We do that as soon as we possibly can. So let's say you've done a fundraiser. You can get 50 more sheets for your program. You just add it to the cart. It's pretty much like buying anything online. You get your totals. There's no taxes on ordering extra coupons, and then just check out. Billing address information you can enter here. You can see the last one I was doing was for Salt Spring. And then shipping address. If you're the farmers market doing this through us, you don't need a charitable tax receipt. that's where you can use the directory to find their address, or just reach out to them directly, or just send me an email if you've done it after the fact and just say, hey, these are meant to go to the partner. I had that happen a couple of days ago. So we're going to hit same. Proceed to checkout. And then you can see your summary, and payment method is by check. So we did have credit card up here, but the fees are exorbitant, like a couple of $100 for an amount like this. So please issue us checks, which is typically what we do in the past anyway. Then when you hit process, straight away it tells you how to forward the payment. You can get a receipt if we open this up. Again, not a charity receipt. It's basically just what your invoice will look like, so you can forward that on to your finance department or your treasurer, whoever's responsible for paying it. And then you can see that stuff in here. So if you've done this a few times throughout the season, you can see it all here. If you're wanting to see what's happened year on year, how your donations have changed, it's all going to be in one spot. You don't have to search through emails. We're hoping that this makes things a bit more streamlined. And I know it certainly does for Meredith, because that invoice is automatically generated. And I have been spending a bit of time talking about buying extra coupons. This is optional. It does not affect your participation in the program if you don't happen to be able to do fundraisers and have donors in your community. It's just great if you can. Okay, so that is Member 365. I'm now going to show you a few more things on the partner portal that you might want to familiarize yourself with. I'm probably going to finish like bang on 1 o'clock, and then we'll have a bit of time for questions. So if you do need to leave at 1 and you miss something, that's okay. Please just go and get on with your day. Otherwise, you can stick around and we'll answer any questions that have come up in chat. So community partners and farmers markets, you have really similar stuff in the partner portal. It's kind of a lot of the same things appearing in both places. First things I want to show you are these community results tabs. So we've got 2018, 2019, 2020 is coming. They've been created. I just need to post them to the website. These are the responses for all of those participant surveys that we get you to fill in and send back to us. So if you don't see your community in this list, it's because we didn't get any responses. So you can just try and get some this year. But basically, if we open this up, it is a dashboard that gets created in SurveyMonkey. So yeah, SurveyMonkey became more expensive, but it added more features, so it's kind of worth it. And yeah, these are the answers for all of those things that people ask. So how many years have they been in the program? How often do they shop? How do they usually get there? We certainly had an increase in people driving last year than usual, because the buses just weren't the safest place for a lot of folks. Who do they go with, and all of that. So these can be useful for reporting to your board or any committees, any private donors that you've received, or if you're looking for funding, because you can kind of show this and say, like, you know, we had 50 people answer this, all of them ate more vegetables. When they don't get coupons, half of them eat less vegetables, and it's because they can't afford it. Can you please help us sponsor 2 or 3 more families? These are all the great things that they do. And here are some testimonials. Throw them on your social media, share them in a newsletter. These are what we use to create those social media posts. So that's there for you. Yeah, from 2018 and 2020 will be there shortly. The dashboard we've looked at. We have some older donation materials that you can print off yourself. We don't have hard copies of these anymore. They all got sent out with these numbers reflecting the donor fund and then the website that they would go to. So they're there if you feel like having them. Funding and sponsorship. If we know of something that is available to groups like yourself, we'll post it here and let you know of it in an email. So these are not things that we offer, just things that we hear about. Whereas the grants tab is things that we offer. So you can see that we don't have the transport ones in here, but you can grab it from the partners one if you do want that. Newsletters. We send out a newsletter every 2 weeks. It's called Nourish. If you don't seem to be getting them this year, a few things: check your spam. MailChimp can get filtered to your spam. If you're using Gmail, check your promotions tab and move it to your inbox. If all else fails, email me and I will check that you are in fact on our mailing list. Sometimes it's just glitching and I just need to remove you and re-add you. They're also available on the partner portal here. So if you want to go back through some older ones. Orientation tab is handy. I kind of try to put everything that you might need at the beginning of the program. So all of your enrollment forms, community reports, the eligible items explainer for the vendors. We also have, and I just have no idea why they're not together. We can't sort these, unfortunately. The tutorial videos are available to you this year as well. So if you haven't had a chance to watch them, I definitely recommend you set 20 minutes aside and take a look. And also know that over the next couple of weeks, once the orientations are done, I'll be finishing up shorter videos for participants and vendors explaining the program. So there will be those visual audio resources available for participants as well, who might prefer that than reading a flyer. So I'll let you know in a newsletter when those are available. And then for the markets, we also have this video on how to enable local line to accept FMNC coupons for vendors. It is something that needs to be switched on in their payment methods. So check this out if they are doing that. And if you use a platform that isn't local line, you can just reach out to us and let us know, and we'd be happy to work with you and the other website hosts to see what we can do. Program materials, a lot of the same stuff you've seen, and some more things. So like the signs, how to set up the flag. New markets, you will be getting a flag. Apparently they're kind of challenging to set up, so we've got a PDF there. Some stuff about reducing barriers. Any recipes or food activities that you send us or that we come across will pop in here. So if you're looking for something, there's a pretty nice list. And then community partners, much of the same. It's just you've got participant stuff instead of vendor stuff, obviously. So we went through, these are all the things that you can find. Pretty much any material that we send you is available on the partner portal. And we've come up on one, so please feel free to leave if you need to, but just want to say a big thank you to everyone for all your hard work, for being patient with us, especially during COVID while we figure things out, and for keeping the program strong for 10 years. I don't want to encourage balloons because they're plastic, but maybe you want to let off some paper confetti at your farmer's market when the program starts to celebrate. Here's our contact information if you have any questions. You can also reach out to your regional coordinator, and their contact information will be put in the next newsletter, which should be sent out to you before the end of this week. Okay, so I have a feeling that Peter is dealing with Canada Post, who are picking up coupons.
I'm here.
Oh no, you're here. Okay, cool. So I've got some questions. Talia, can we alter the fillable PDF application if we want to ask more questions? So good question. I mean, if you're able to create a fillable PDF on your own, then you can just edit the Word document and then convert that to a PDF and make it a form. But if you don't have Adobe Acrobat to be able to do that, you can just send me your Word one and I can do it for you. So you're absolutely welcome to do it. It just depends on if you can. is it okay to get verbal consent of the application form if persons have trouble with getting electronic copy of application? Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do this. And, you know, we expect that there will be people who will be doing these over the phone. So that's fine. Someone just had to leave, people having to leave. Yeah, I think they were actually the only 2 questions we got. So where can I find a copy of the coupon enrollment form? It's on the partner portal. So if you just go to that page I was showing you where you hover over coupon program, select partner portal, and then community partners, it'll be under orientation and also in program materials. And in our next newsletter, I'll also be putting links to all of those getting started things that you might need. Okay, so we've got nothing else right now, but yeah, just reach out to us if anything comes up between now and getting started, and then as we get started.
Yeah, and don't hesitate to reach out to me as well. Sometimes Talia and Peter are busy managing the whole thing, and yeah, I'll be around.
Yes, Livia's awesome. Livia knows the program very well.
Thank you, Talia.
So have a great summer, everyone, and we look forward to working with you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.